All right, we should be live. Well, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing this fantastic day? All right, so Mr. Gold did not find resistance. We got Powell speaking right now. I don't know what this is about. Just letting you know. I'll drop this down in the chat so that way if you guys want to watch it or listen to it, you can. I'm not going to pay much attention to him. I'm just going to pay attention to price. Gold's been going up for the last 10 hours. We just took out a swing high. This swing high is just a daily swing high. That is all this is. It's not a weekly or monthly swing high. Apologies on getting this thing started. I thought it was already going. I had to hit the start stream button. I didn't know that. I've never done it this way. So I'm learning as I go. I hope you guys can bear with me. We'll get there eventually. We know where we're going. If we go over here to where we were watching yesterday, at the end of the stream, someone brought up Pendle. We like it to the downside. There is a little bit of support coming in here from last week's retracement. There's a 618 retracement down here. So I'm expecting this might act as a little bit of support today. But I don't really want to take a new short on it unless it's retesting May's open, which is also the 50% retracement of last week's range. If we could get up in there, act as resistance on the near term or today, we would look for the short. Fartcoin is looking pretty good for a short if the markets do roll over today. I would like to get it back up here at the 618 as that would be a VWAP test. So we're going to keep Fartcoin on watch here for a potential short as the order flow for today is bearish. We opened a fresh 6-month candle. Today is the first day of the second half of the year. It's the first day of Q3 and it is the first day of July. So we got a lot of stuff happening here on the first day of July, though we may not have set the weekly low yesterday, clearly because we made a fresh low today. So it does look like we are potentially heading lower for now. Bitcoin is currently testing lows of day. It's an old weekly supply level. Here is that old weekly supply. It comes from the May 19 week open. It's just an old level of weekly supply. We broke through it last week. We're testing it as support right now. And it has been holding for the last 5 hours. So gold's been going up for the last 10 hours straight. Bitcoin's been basically hovering around this old weekly supply. Point of control also coming in there. I typically don't like to see these volume profile signatures because right now it's like a B, right? And then we know that it can absolutely break down. So you kind of have like this little signature. Well, what we don't want to see is it put something in like this. On the daily time frame, Bitcoin is almost checking the 21 exponential and the 50 simple. The blue is the 50 simple, 21 exponential. So sitting right above the 618, that's an old weekly fib. I think it's last week's. Yeah, it's last week's fib. I don't know why it's structured to the downside. No, it ain't. It's perfect. Okay, I see it. I see it right there and there. This fib is stressing me out here. Let's get rid of this fib. It's May's fib. So we have May's fib and then last week's fib. That's essentially the range we're trading in. If I go out to the monthly, you can see that we're still trading inside of May's candle. You have not taken out May's high or low. So you're trading inside. Right now we're trading inside June's candle. June's candle would trade it inside of May's. So upside targets, obviously 112, as that's going to be fresh all-time high and May's high. Downside target, yearly opening range. That's May's low. It's also your yearly opening range. So big levels down here. I'm not expecting Bitcoin to get all the way back down there this month, but anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. And we're preparing for anything. But yeah, that's what we kind of have in the form of support. the 21 exponential, the 50 simple. You're coming down to the 50 here. And then the 8-hour chart is currently breaking through the 21 and currently trading under the 50 on the RSI. But this candle closes in 2 hours and 35 minutes. And it looks like a downside continuation candle. So as of right now, your order flow for the last 2 days is bearish. Will it continue? We don't know, but we're going to keep our eyes on it, right? Right now, Bitcoin is trying to hold support. You got resistance up here in the day's VWAP, volume weighted average price, testing 106,850. And there is no, I don't think there's much. It's just old intraday support up there at 106.9. So these will be the near-term levels that we're going to be watching. And of course, you can watch hourly res here if you want. I don't know if I would be wanting or willing to take a short there. The 4-hour still looks good. And you've got July's open way up here. So if we blast through this level, it's going to be a difficult short to take, knowing that it could retest July's open. That's also your daily open. So if you're above the July open today, you're green on the day. Liquidity is still very thin. You can see that on the 1-minute chart. You see how these candles look crazy? Just very thin liquidity. If we look at the liquidity map over here, let me refresh it. You can see you're right in you're right in the middle of a illiquid zone, and it's either way. Like either way, this thing can go from here. We look at the 7-day liquidity. It's definitely skewed more to the downside. And 30-day is skewed more to the downside. And let's go look at the actual liquidation heat map. And you just got the majority of the hot liquidity. So the white hot, that's like where the most of the liquidity is sitting. We've already liquidated that on the day. So it does look like, Bitcoin could potentially find support here. If you are looking to be a buyer on Bitcoin, this would be the level to be a buyer at. And you can simply mitigate your risk by being under the low of day, which is right here. So it's not a very wide risk point. Just make sure you're risking an amount of money you can afford to lose. And as far as positions that I'm currently in or holding, I will let you see that real fast. Up here, I am short Pendle from 4-hour supply. It's not really gone anywhere. Also just put on a little bit ago a short on Hype, because Hype is retesting the VWAP here. I want to see if it breaks down. Clearly, if it does not, I will exit that short position. And then I'm still holding this LPT short, as it did ultimately break down yesterday. But it took literally all day to do it. And it didn't really get anything going. Not really. Not like it can, right? This thing, you can see how big this day range is over here. We broke down below a trend line. This one is more structured short, or more structured for short side entries. Right here. This LPT and Pendle is more structured for short side entries. I think the rest of them are still structured very bullish. So you have to be picky in what you're looking for as far as short sets, right? You don't want to take a short setup on a strong asset. You would rather take the short setup on the weak asset. But the overall market is looking good for us. The overall market is looking good for us as far as looking at short setups. VIX currently trading above the yearly opening range. It did liquidate yesterday's swing high, so that's something to keep in mind. if it is going to roll back over to the downside, it can do it now. And you can see risk markets have pulled back a little bit. DXY extremely weak, hitting oversold regions on the daily RSI. And then oil is trading in a 5-day range. But SPX had a very good day the last couple, or a very good week the last couple weeks, been going straight up. So we are seeing it pull back a little bit here, but not like a lot, right? It's just a little bit. So keep an eye on the open here. Let's see what happens. And then Bitcoin trading above hourly res. Once again, I don't love shorting that hourly res. It's strong. Bitcoin is overall strong. Like, as long as you're trading above the daily 21 exponential, you have to give more respect to the upside. But we'll see if Pendle USDT can come up into a resistance area here for a new short entry. And LPT is also very structured bearishly. So those are the two favorites to look for shorts. And then our favorites to look for longs would have been Fartcoin if it wasn't trading under the volume weighted average price. And your cumulative volume delta is structured bearish today as well. So Fartcoin could potentially be a short. You've got your point of control for volume setting at like 111. So that could act as support. And then dominance has given or reclaimed all of yesterday's move. I don't know if I got this in the live stream or not. If I did, I apologize for going back to it. But dominance has reclaimed all of its losses yesterday. So Bitcoin would be better prone to longs just from a technical setup. I'm not talking about what I'm expecting price to do, okay? I'm just talking about the setup. The technical setup for Bitcoin is bullish. The technical setup for LPT and Pendle is short. So with dominance going up today, maybe we still get a downside move on Pendle and LPT based on the overall weak structure. Now, I don't know what price is going to do, right? I never know. I'm just trying to give you guys the right setups to look at. And Tesla blasted through the 2-week low post-market yesterday. So obviously I'm not looking to buy this. This is very weak. We wanted to see if it just went down here, liquidated this, and then found support. It clearly did not do that. So right now, Tesla is very weak. Would I short it today? No. I never like to short anything on a massive gap down. I never do. I mean, it makes sense. And right now it is putting in what looks like a gap and go formation. But the problem is there's always a huge chance that you have profit taking on the bell, simply because so many people, that anybody that did take the short setup yesterday targeting that low, they are so far in profit right now. They're going to be hammering the buyback button. They're going to be hammering on the get out of this trade because I am in massive profits right now. This is why I don't love to get short on what appears to be a gap and go setup. I like to see a retest first and then find resistance somewhere and then potentially look to short the resistance for continuation weakness. And it's also trading right at an old daily support. So there's that. As far as I don't have Thinkorswim pulled up. So as far as looking at tech, we'll have to go look. Apple is gapping up. Microsoft is at the open of the day, but it's, no, it's above the open. So it does look like it's wanting to set a fresh high of day first. And NVIDIA just did set a fresh high of day. I don't know what that fib is. Why is that fib there? That is a nothing burger on the fib. I don't understand why that was even there. So a hammer candle here and then a rollover. It's not quite a shooting star, but it's similar. It's a topping formation. Amazon rejecting the yearly opening range. We expect that to happen. But here's the thing. If Amazon finds support like around the March open, then we could look to buy it in anticipation of it breaking the yearly opening range. But that it might not be a today trade, right? That might be a next week trade. We got to give it time to find support. But yeah, I mean, pretty much tech is looking okay. The only Nvidia, not really. Tesla, not really. But Apple's looking real good with the gap up. And then Pepsi is gapping up. So Pepsi's pretty close to taking out our first upside target. So it does look like that volume spike that we saw last Friday was buying pressure. We had to be careful because this week is a holiday week on the Pepsi long. We bought Pepsi last Thursday and then we saw a volume spike on Friday. But we were not 100% sure if it was legit buying pressure or if it was portfolio rotations based on Friday was the last day before the holiday that you would have normal liquidity. Anytime you have a holiday week like this or a shortened week, a 4-day trading week, a lot of your bigger traders are already headed to the island, right? They're already heading to the Hamptons for the 4th of July barbecues. So the liquidity's thin this week. There are some people trading, obviously, but you can see big outsized moves when liquidity's thin. So we have to be very, very, very smart with our risk mitigation skills today. Bitcoin getting a spike on volume, moving up is to the first intraday support zone. Looks like Pendle also bouncing a little bit here. So let's watch Pendle, as this one would be something that I am looking for another position or another entry on. And a 344 test and rejection would be beautiful. Seeing a little spike on volume here. As we're 7 minutes into the opening bell. And then Hype is another one that I did take a short on, but I don't love it. It is not structured bearish. It is structured bullish. You're well above the 50 on the RSI. You're well above your 21 daily exponential. There's not enough data on this really to get any moving averages on the weekly time frame or any kind of average. You don't have 14 weeks yet, so not going to print anything, as most indicators from stock use the 14-day look-back period. Ooh, excuse me. All right, so going back over here to an LPT, I mean, if you are holding that short, all I can tell you is just keep holding it. You're in good shape right now. My main concern with LPT holding this thing short, I've been in this trade for 3 days and I have paid $71 in fees. That's with a position size of $220. Now it is 20x leverage, so the actual position size is much larger. I actually am short 668 coins, but I am paying an exorbitant amount of fees because of the funding rate, right? The funding rate is huge on LPT. Let me put you back up there so you can see it for your own eyes. So here is the funding rate on Pendle. You can see you have 0.003 If we go to LPT, that funding rate is 0.03. Much different. It's a whole decimal spot over almost, right? Or a whole tens place over, not tens. So you've got it in the thousandth place. The fee structures in the thousandth place on Pendle, but on the 100th place on LPT. So there's a lot more fees going to be associated with that via the funding rate. But you can see where I'm short here, and it's up, it's up pretty good, but I mean, clearly the funding rate is eaten into that. Here's what I've paid so far just to hold this trade. This is what I like to pay. Like nothing, right? Nothing. That's what I like to pay. So I might exit this one, the LPT, if it doesn't take off to the downside today. If it don't start to take off, I might exit that. So Pendle giving us a slight little spike here on the open and already starting to roll over. I was hoping it would give us a deeper correction so that way at least you could get in on the short. And hype. Let me go look at hype. Yeah, it's already starting to roll over too. So Fartcoin, what is it doing? Also rolling over as well. So we're seeing rejection on most of these take place roughly at the intraday VWAP. The GLD, I don't know if I was short the June open or not because the dollar is so freaking weak. And since gold or the XAU is traded versus the dollar, the weakness in the dollar is just, in a sense, giving gold all of this strength. So maybe if the dollar finds a low today, since you have liquidated this swing high, maybe it finds a bit of resistance. But really and truly, this trend line was massive support and it held. And we wanted to see if this actually happened last Sunday when we did the members only live stream. We know we broke below, or it was trying to break below the trend line. We wanted to wait and see if it did break or if it held as support, and it clearly is as of right now holding as support. I wouldn't be a buyer on gold up here, but it's hard to be a seller too because the structure is bullishly positioned. You're above your 50 on the RSI, but that's based on today. So you're currently testing the 21 and the 50 on the daily. You're above both of those on the weekly. Still trading inside of last week's range. So that swing high is only a daily swing high. It is not a weekly or a monthly swing. So it's not a huge or a key swing, right? It's a key swing on the intraday chart, but not really anything of note. But clearly, anybody that was short from Thursday of last week, they now have to do something with their positions, whether they look to enter again or close it, whatever. Just by closing those shorts, though, will cause extra buying pressure. So just be careful if you're looking for fresh gold shorts, please. High of day would be the absolute stop loss. Bitcoin rolling back over here, tested that intraday support zone to perfection. Also retested intraday VWAP. It's also going to be July's VWAP. So this VWAP will stay on the chart moving forward. Each day we go through in the month of June, this VWAP will be more and more important. But for today, since it's the first day, clearly it's going to be the intraday VWAP as well. And then down here's June's VWAP with an old weekly resistance point and the 618 retracement of the current ranges that we are in. May's range and last week's range. So it's still just a pullback. right? This is not bearish. It is still just a pullback until you start closing dailies under your 50 on the RSI. Water. It's good. Good for the soul. Good for the body. Let's see if Fartcoin can hold support here, because what Bitcoin could be doing right now is it could just be liquidating the low of day. You got a massive volume spike here on this low of day liquidation. So old weekly supply could still potentially be support. Let's see what we get. So if you do want to buy Bitcoin, now would be the time. See, wait for the open. Let the open to pass. Let that near-term volatility do its thing. You just liquidated the low of day. So if support's going to hold, we can go ahead and buy it and set the low of day as our stop and risk 1%, no more, or a little less than 1%, like a 0.5%, or 0.25%. So this way, if it does start to go in our direction, instead of eating a full % loss, if it comes back against us, we can always add more to the position once it starts to work out. So I'll go ahead and get Bitcoin pulled up here and see if I can get filled on a limit buy with 1/4 position. Okay, limit buy. We're going to go in small. I got my limit order set at 106,487. Really close to that weekly supply level. On the daily time frame, it's still structured bearish. I understand that. You're down on the day. You just made a fresh daily low. Typically, you want to look to short that. But we are at a key level of support. And you can see that on the higher time frames. Look over here. We tested it here. We tested it there. We tested it here. Tested it there. And we've been testing it all morning. So it is a key level of support. You don't need me to tell you that it is. You can see it for yourself. I haven't gotten filled on my limit yet, and that really kind of stinks. All right, it's coming back. I just got filled. Very small position size. A new liquidation on the daily low would stop my trade out. So setting stop loss now, 106,225. And of course, I want to exit that completely because I want to add to my trades when they are working. I want to take the risk off when it's not working. Okay? This way I don't eat a full stop, a full 1%. This gives us powder, if you will, dry powder to keep, maybe try it again later on if it actually holds a support. Now, the two that we're looking at for shorts, LPT and Pendle, you can be your own judgment on this, right? Because alts typically do rise when Bitcoin rises. Bitcoin is like the ocean, and the altcoins are like boats in the ocean. So whenever Bitcoin rises, it lifts the boats up, the other boats with it, right? Just picture it like the ocean. Not all of them will. The ones that have weakness and are weaker than others can still fall. But generally speaking, you will get better performances out of your short positions when the overall crypto market is bearish and you are short the weaker asset. It's still too early in the day for us to know which direction this is going to go. We have the VIX getting a rejection. VIX rejecting yearly opening range. S&P 500 on the hourly time frame. You cannot see it. Son of a biscuit. All right, let me put it over here. There we go. You can see S&P 500 is pumping off the lows. Are we getting that decline on gold? Not really. Not yet. Let me put XAG up on Oanda. This is silver. I want XAU on Oanda. So that way I can get a volume weighted average price on this thing. Forex.com does not provide their volume metrics. So you can see, since they consider it to be proprietary. I don't know why they consider it to be proprietary, but they don't. I do like this ascending volume structure here if it does in fact roll over and start to show us some serious downside movement. I like this volume structure here. But remember, this could also be for continuation, because you could have buyers buying up here because this is a daily swing high breakout. Here is that daily swing high. Thursday's swing high. So this volume spike could be fresh breakouts. It's also going to be stop losses from short sellers who shorted over here. That's why it's going to look more like buying than selling, because it is more buying than selling. But if you have an iceberg order setting up here, then essentially what they're doing is they're selling into all of that fresh buy liquidity. And we'll know that if we start to trade away from this level. If you don't start trading away from the level, then it is not an iceberg order, right? When all of this liquidity is triggered, the iceberg sells into it. You will see it set on the order book like a very small number. But what it is you can't see the multiple zeros behind it. And it'll just keep, every time it pops up, it'll just keep hammering into all of that fresh bid liquidity. But if it isn't an iceberg order, then prices will not trade away from the level. They will set up here and grind the level out, and then you're going to see that, more or less. So if it is sell side triggering, then we should see it start to trade away rather quickly and give us that expansion. But Powell is speaking.
AI should be creating jobs at the same time. Productive. And there are those who think it's going to replace an awful lot of jobs right across the income spectrum, white collar, blue collar, and everything.
He has been speaking for hours. What the hell? Dude. All right. Yeah, so just keep it on watch. All right, just keep it on watch. Don't do anything. Don't react to what you see. Don't predict what you think is going to happen. You have to be a reactionary. You want to react to what is going on, not predicting it. Because like I said, this could 100%. Look at this. This is way up above the neutral line. So even now, the cumulative volume delta is showing us your bids are outweighing the asks for now. In order for price to rotate and go back lower, we need to see the market order sells be more aggressive than the limit order buys. All right, going back over here to the LPT and Pendle, because these are the ones that we want to see roll over. And Pendle is actually, let me get this on a higher time frame. You're retesting the hourly breakdown. This is your support on an intraday basis. It's the lowest closing hourly candle. This is the first time you're closing an hourly candle under it. That makes this the support. So if it's going to roll over, we would like to see it reject intraday support and treat it as resistance. And if it does that, we can react to it and short it. On the 4 hour, it looks like downside continuation still. You got 2 hours on this 4 hour candle. Clearly, if it closes like this, it's going to look more like buying pressure. But Bitcoin still just looks like a retest on the 4 hour. Right? It looks like more of a retest. Like it's just retesting the last 4 hour candle's midpoint. And they're in its intraday support zone and volume weighted average price. So now what we want to see here on the hourly is we want to see the midpoint of this hourly candle hold. So the next hour, we want to see this one close strong here. We got 4 minutes left. I hate that color. We have 4 minutes left on this hourly candle. We want to see it close up near the highs. And then on the next hourly candle, we want to see it open, wick down to roughly the midpoint and hold that on the 1 and 5 minute time frames. That's what you want to see for bullish continuation. So in a sense, it would look something like this. Well, here, let's just, we have a resistance right there. So going into your 1 minute or your 10 second or whatever time frame you like, you would want to see it build in support here. Something like this. Right there. That's about the midpoint of that hourly range. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. 3 minutes on the close of this hour. We are getting downside continuation on LPT, which is nice. I want to see this break and close below this support here right now. So you can see just this one did not work out for us very good yesterday, right? But we just held it, and then eventually it broke down. Because this one is weaker overall. The analysis told us that. Analysis is only supposed to be used to kind of help you find the best possible trades. And then Pendle is also one that we're watching for downside continuation. We want to see this hold as resistance up here at 340 or in this area. Big spike here. That is nice. Now, this is also above the zero line on the 1 minute. Is it above the zero line on the 5? Yes. 15? Yes. This is still structured bullish according to volume cumulative delta. Cumulative volume delta. Let me make sure no one's asking any questions that I need to answer right here, right now. It's making wild moves again. What do you think about gold? Yeah, we discussed gold in depth. We're just waiting for it to play out. A lot of people are expecting Bitcoin to try for a new all-time high these days. Yeah, they are, because it's structured bullish and we have rate cuts coming this year and everything is structured bullish. You got fresh all-time highs on the NQ, fresh all-time highs on the ES. So yeah, there is a lot of bullish sentiment out there, but we also know that the market tends to move in the direction that hurts the most people. We did have a record set in call volume. So it does appear that most people are bullish. Now, the thing about that the call volume is it only shows us open interest. It doesn't tell us whether or not that call volume is mostly sold or if it is long options. We don't know if the market participants are long or short those calls. It just tells us there is a lot of them. So yeah, we can look at, let me go up to my community support tab on the Discord. I'll pull up the fear and greed. Yeah, I mean, in the stock market, you are clearly in greed, and in crypto, you are clearly in greed. Yeah. So very greedy markets right now. Sentiment is very bullish. Very bullish. Greetings, boss. Thanks for what you do. You are welcome, my friend. Please check Jasmine. All right. I like it lower. Give me a second as I'm getting everything situated on it. But I like it lower. Okay, so we are bearish on the year. We are bearish on June. Now, the midpoint of June did kind of hold here. So it's not super bearish. See, this dotted line here is your 50% retracement. The upper dotted line, not the bottom. Oh, I thought the bottom was it. No, we did close a daily just under it. Just did get that close. So 0.01303, and it is lower than that 50% fib. So I do like it lower. Yeah, I like Jasmine lower. I don't like this volume signature. Perfect. Yes. I like it lower. The problem is, does it go lower from July's open or does it go lower from where it is? See, volume's not really, it spiked on the up move here and then the volume dried up on the down move a little bit. I do like the fact that this up move here has the open in it and it's not very big in volume, but this is a thinly traded asset. Let me go see what the 24-hour volumes are on Jasmine. 1.3 milli. Is it a fast-moving asset? Not really. It's only down 0.5%. It's not a fast mover. Maybe there's better liquidity on something like Coinbase. Let's see. Yeah. It looks a little better. Actually, it doesn't. It actually looks the same. So I'll just leave it on Binance or I'll just leave the Binance as the exchange because it's got just a little bit more liquidity in it. This is the level you want to see hold on Jasmine. You can see volume building up here. So this is the area you want to see resistance hold. If it's going to remain weaker, then we want to see resistance hold here. Let me go get the weekly. Okay, last week was an outside week. Not an outside week because we didn't take out the weekly low, the previous week's low, but it is a trending weekly candle to the upside. It's not an engulfing or an outside candle, so it's not like a reversal signal, but as long as the midpoint of this weekly candle is holding, which it is as support, then you have to give respect to the upside on the very near term, simply because last week was you took out the previous week's high and closed up on highs. So the very near term, the last 3 weeks of price action is more bullish than bearish. I do like that it is struggling. And you made this a trap. You broke resistance, closed above resistance here. Daily res. You broke it, closed above. Yesterday, you made it a trap. So this was a bullish trap. So that should help resistance come into play today. Other people are going to notice that this is red on the year, red on the month. We just had a fresh monthly open. So, and the one thing that you got to be concerned with, though, is this might not be the month. It might want to set a monthly high first. So you can keep Jasmine on watch. The trade might not be today. Let me be clear. If it holds resistance at 0.01304, you can short it, but make sure you set your stop tight and use dynamic risk management, and then wait for it to set a monthly high and then roll back over, as that would basically signal to you that the high of month could potentially be in, and now you want to look for that monthly expansion lower. All right, so hype is not rejecting. So I'm going to potentially exit that short for now and wait to see what happens with it later. And get a better entry, right? This entry where I'm currently at isn't a very good entry. Big volume down here. Big volume. You're currently trading in or above the value area low and above the volume weighted average price. I like that you're not seeing a surge in volume to the upside, though. But it just means my position is terrible. So I'll exit it without a loss. It was up a little bit, barely. And I'll wait for potential 4-hour res to hold. Right here's 4-hour res. So I don't want to short it while we're above that. Because it can go higher. But if it stays under it, then I can short it. Now I want to see an increase in volume now. We got the increase in volume now. So let's see what happens here. Hype is not one of my favorites to short. Remember, it's more structured bullish. The favorites for the short would be LPT, Pendle, and now Jasmine, because all three of those are bearish. Hype is still bullish. But we are seeing an increase in volume here at the 4-hour resistance. And we did take out the last 4-hour candle's high. So all it needs to do is take out the last 4-hour candle's low, and this candle would be a bearish engulfing. So I can't short it while it's above the level, But if it's below the level, I can short it and anticipate a potential bearish engulfing. Let's see if we're seeing a volume spike, because a volume spike going into the level could signify buying pressure to push it through. So don't short it just yet. Give it a second. Let it tell us what it's doing. PMI out, jolts out. Yeah, I wish I had I don't have my news thing pulled up. I mean, I really don't care. Let me see what the market's saying. Yeah, the market isn't reacting negatively off of that news. Here's the market. We just opened this hourly candle when the news came out. So it did get a little spike to the upside, but nothing major. Like, I'm not seeing right here. This is the news. This is when the news came out. Oh, it's not doing much yet. This could be testing this for supply or demand, sorry. And Bitcoin's looking okay still. This could be a demand test on the SPOOs. Let me go get the SPOOs here. Now, we could potentially buy the S&P. All right, so I'm going to throw out a bid on the S&P for a call, as this being a support test at the VWAP. We didn't get a huge spike, so I'm assuming jolts and PMIs are okay. I can look. Oh. So 48.5 was what we had prior. They were forecasting 48.8 and they got 49 on the ISM. That's good. Above 50 is where the market would much rather see this. So that's good. We beat last month. We beat expected. That's good news. And then Jolt, 7.395 milli. They were anticipating less at 7.3. They got more. So you're more. I'll read it. In the United States, job openings refer to all positions that are open, not filled, on the last business day of the month. Job openings are part of the Job Openings and Labor Turnover Survey. The survey collects data from around 16,400 non-farm establishments, including retailers and manufacturers, as well as federal, state, and local government entities in the 50 states and the District of Columbia. Washington, D.C., for anybody that doesn't know what the District of Columbia is. Washington, D.C. The JOLTS assesses the unmet demand for labor in the U.S. labor markets and gained attention in 2014 as favorite labor market indicator of Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen. Okay. So market's not getting killed on that news. Here's something important for you guys to understand. We are going to see non-farm payrolls on Thursday because this is the first week of the month and non-farm payrolls comes out the first Friday of every month. Since Friday is a holiday, they're going to bring it out on Thursday. And then everybody's going to the Hamptons. The Hamptons. I just watched a Netflix special or HBO special about them poor girls back in the 2010s that were murdered. I can't believe that guy has still not been tried for that. Insane stuff, man. Yeah, we're getting a bullish push here. I did get filled on that call. I will hold it just to see what happens, right? And let's go look at gold real fast. Wait, I want to make sure I'm not missing. Hype is... So we're in this position, so we're going to go back to hype. because we're watching this 4-hour res here. So you did kind of get a bearish reaction, but then it's right back to it. This is shady. High of day is all the way up at 39.81. I'm going to put XAU over there on that one. Oh, it's still not rolling over. Yeah, gold's looking like it's trying to hold support. Now, if you're just joining us, welcome. We're looking to potentially short hype USD here. We like LPT for the short, but it's already moving, so we can't just short it. And then we also like Pendle for the short, and it's actually moving up. So we're watching this intraday support here. Let's see if this acts as resistance. Bitcoin is currently pushing up. You're back to open. You're back to the open on Bitcoin right now. You are testing July's open right now. So as of right now, Bitcoin's back to being up on the day. Bitcoin's current high of day setting all the way up at 107,577. We bought Bitcoin here this morning when it made a fresh daily low. We bought it for a liquidation break because Bitcoin is structured bullish on the daily time frame. I was able to get filled on a retest of this old weekly supply zone here. So we like it to move up. We want it to move up. It is rejecting July's open. Don't love that. You're also going to have a little bit of daily supply affecting Bitcoin if it does get up into here, as that was also a bull trap candle. Because yesterday took out the low, making that a trap. Same scenario. So any trading up into this could potentially act as resistance. And it's right here. Do I think 108,399 is a good exit level on Bitcoin? You could take profits here where it currently is if you got in with a pretty good size position. But I mean, with this volume, I think it goes higher. That's quite a bit of volume here. And like I said, we already checked the liquidation heat map, and it's already liquidated the white hot stuff on the low side. So now it's trying to head up to the white hot stuff on the upside. It got all of this liquidity. White hot liquidity starts at 108.4. That's right here, I'm assuming, in this area. I don't know the exact price because that's all exchanges, and so it's not going to be the same price on the Coinbase exchange, but it gives us a pretty good idea. So hype rejecting 4-hour res. We can try the short on hype. This way, it'll kind of hedge off that Bitcoin position as well. If Bitcoin fails at the July open, as you know, people are going to be shorting that, I hope. It's the second half of the year. That is a big objective price point. It will cause people to do stuff. Keep an eye on it. Here, let me get some music going at least. It don't sound so boring and bland while we're waiting for these things to play out. Hype is not testing 4-hour res or July open, it's just testing the 4-hour res. Which is what we want to see if we have a short side bias on it. We don't have a short side bias on it though. We have a long side bias on Hype. It's the only one giving us a setup to the downside that isn't already exhausted. Oh wait, Pen is also. Pendle's not really that liquid. So I don't blame you for not wanting to trade it if you don't want to trade it. Let me know if that music is too loud in the chat, and I will change, or I can fix it at any time. So yeah, let's see if Pendle rolls over here. Intraday support. 34.26. I already have a short open on it, so if you want to short it, that's the price to look to short it. My price is up at 4-hour supply. My short is up here, right under the July open. But yeah, I mean, if it's going to roll over, this would be a good spot for it to do so. Can you look at XBI Biotech ETF if for a long? Yep, we're not dropping any frames. I was just wondering. Okay, yeah. XBI. I don't like the weekly. I don't like the yearly. A monthly looks okay. It's right into monthly resistance. I don't love that June closed under monthly resistance. So that's what you got to deal with for now. The weekly is still structured weak. It's bearish on the weekly time frame. The daily has given you a breakout above bearish. It went up and tested the 60 and failed. So right in here, this is your failure point. Now it does look like it's holding support. You've tested daily support today and it's held, but I couldn't take the long myself. My rules would not allow me to get long this asset yet. even though it's saying that it's a buy on the daily, because the weekly is still bearish. And I usually like to let the weekly guide my overall decision making. But here's the thing. If you get back and close back above the 21 today, then yeah, maybe. Because obviously the daily has to stay bullish so it can make the weekly chart flip to bullish. Your more near-term levels will dictate market direction before the longer-term levels will. We know that for a fact. But you don't want to be too early, because the weekly's telling you that it's a sell, right? And the daily is showing you that you broke out bullish. You even broke out above bullish momentum, because anything above the 60 is bullish momentum. But then what happened? Well, then what happened is you rolled over. So the weekly is telling you the asset is weak. The daily is telling us, well, it did break out above the 60 right through here, but it just could not get any upside continuation. And then it broke back down. It's still bullish, because anything above this is bullish. So you're still bullish. You still have bullish momentum. It's just you're losing it. You're losing it because you were up here. So you are losing momentum. And since the weekly says it's weak, you need to close back above the 21 today. If it does not do that, this is going to look like a short, not a long. But to be fair, the sellers have not been able to get anything going to the downside. But to be fair, this thing is in a downtrend. Right? Like literally, it's range bound. It's not in a downtrend now. It's down on the year. It's basically doing the same thing most markets have done by setting the yearly low in April. But where other markets have not only reclaimed their yearly opens, some of them are making fresh all-time highs. This hasn't even reclaimed its yearly open yet. So this is just inherently weak. And monthly res held. That closes 82.93. Monthly res is 82.95. So you close June back under monthly res after being well above it. So, it's looking like it's trying to repair itself. I think you're just a little early. A little bit early. It is trying to repair itself. So the first time that it got back to overbought, or not even overbought, but it's the first time that it got back above, it got above the 60 since it set the yearly low. So this could just be a pullback, right? I'm not saying that it's super weak. It's just in repair right now, and you need to kind of wait until you get a good clear signal. Right now, the signal isn't so clear. It is not so clear. Bitcoin has rejected the July open hard. So that short we just took should start working out here on hype. Look at this. Beautiful. We can exit the Bitcoin long with a very minimalistic loss. Not even it's like break even. So Bitcoin Actually, you don't have to get out of it yet, because this is still support until it's not. And on the call side over there on the S&Ps, well, S&Ps is still holding hourly supply. As long as it's holding that, I'll keep that long open. Bitcoin could technically still hold. There's still 30 minutes left on this close. So right here, as long as it's above, this right here is what we need to see it close back above this. We don't care about the wicks under it. We want to see candle closes above it, right? And as long as we get that, technically you can still hold that Bitcoin long. But this is a rejection, a clear rejection of the July open. Clear rejection. Let's see if support holds, but intraday VWAP right here. I would expect sellers to hammer it right back here. Pendle. It held. Rolled over. Support. Flipped as resistance. Things are working out. Volume is good for the chill jazz, but I don't know if you have a disco beat on cue. Yeah, we got house music in there, buddy. Yeah, of course we do. The internet loves house music for whatever reason. Riot. Yeah, we can look at Riot. Now, I mean, clearly, I'm trying to see. Yeah, okay. Riot's liquidating last month's high right now. If Bitcoin fails here, I would be willing to sell calls on Riot. That's if. But it's up on the year barely. It's reclaimed a yearly open. That's good. That's what you want to see. We just opened the July candle, so it is way too early to say it's holding support at the July open. But that was a good, strong close in June. You're trading above last week's high. That's all good news. There's also a big fat weekly supply candle right there. People are going to look to short. It looks good on the weekly for bullish continuation. It looks good on the daily for bullish continuation. Here's the thing though, if Bitcoin fails here today, you could absolutely see Riot get killed too. But this could just be some, early market trickery. See, anybody that got long here this morning, they're going to want to bail out of that trade now. They're going to think that it's reversing. And it might be. It's just only time will tell us what it's going to do. That's the reason I was saying a little bit earlier, you can take profits here at the July open because this could absolutely act as resistance. If you bought it here and you got a scalp up to there, that's not a bad trade. It's not a huge winner. It's like 0.5%. But still, it's a scalp. You're looking to enter trades, let the price move in the right direction from your entry, then take profits. That's what trading is about. If you don't ever pay yourself on these scalps, it's not going to work out for you. I didn't take profits because I looked up at the chart where it was and I jumped in it with too small of a position, so that it didn't justify me taking profits, right? It just didn't justify it. And I have other trades open that are currently in the money, like LPT's in the money, Pendle's in the money, and hype is moving in my direction. So as long as we're closing candles under the daily intraday or the intraday VWAP, then I'm not going to close the short. Bitcoin's doing the opposite. Bitcoin lost the intraday VWAP. Now it can get it right back because the SPOOS is still holding demand. The SPOOS is still holding this hourly demand here. Now, this could just be a fake out on Bitcoin. A BART. Burnt. We see that happen all the time. Support is 106,460. Or that old weekly supply candle. We got 24 minutes left on this hourly close. If it closes back up here, it's going to look like a demand test hold. Look where the VIX is. The VIX is under the yearly opening and trading at daily lows. That's what we want to see for bullish continuation. On the SPOOs at least. I don't know what if Bitcoin will trade exactly like the SPOOs, but it's better than it isn't. So whatever happens to Bitcoin today will likely happen to Riot. But Bitcoin does ultimately fail. I would assume Riot does too. Gold is not failing. This is not a failure. This is absolutely, it looks like they are buying it. They are buying it. It's making higher lows. Too dangerous to short gold if it's above this price. 33.50. It's too dangerous. Bitcoin breaking down. Bitcoin breaking down. That's going to help our shorts. Here's our shorts. We got Pendle. I'm short at 4-hour demand. Hype. Short at 4-hour resistance. Remember, I said we could take this 4-hour candle's low out, then this 4-hour candle would be a bearish engulfing. And then LPT, the one with the super high funding rate. This one I would love to hold since it's in such a good position. It's just the funding rate is so brutal. Can't hold it. Too expensive. So gold's probably getting ready to rip if Bitcoin continues to drop. I don't want to see it there's no reason for it to need to liquidate the low of day. It liquidated it here. I mean, this was a fresh low of day. Then this was a low of day liquidation. Then you had a bullish reaction, tested the July open, and instantly reversed, and you're coming back to the low of day. That's a bearish signal, not a bullish signal. There's your house music. That's a head bopper right there. Go, 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 yeah. BSW, man, I wish I would have stayed short in that. LPT looking good, downside continuation. Pin giving us Pendle. This was a good call out from Yusuf yesterday. Called this out. This was a good call out. I think it was Yusuf. Hopefully it was Yusuf. Circle rolling over, giving you downside continuation. Tesla down 5%, but it's rebounded some since. So maybe now Tesla could be a short. As long as this last 5-minute up close candle holds as very near term intraday res, I wouldn't short it based on that. I have done it before and they have worked out, but they don't work out that often. It works out much better if there's a higher time frame level here, like a weekly or a monthly, because then it's the monthly or weekly level holding, not the 5-minute supply. But yeah, Pendle's working out to the downside. Hype working out to the downside. We got plenty of room to go on Hype. That's beautiful. Down here's the low of day on Hype. We're getting volume spike on a continuation candle. Love to see it. Bitcoin, fresh low of day. There's not much liquidity down here, so it could still bounce, guys. Could still bounce. The majority of the liquidity dries up at 105.469. That's down here at the June VWAP. So I don't know if I could buy it, but I guess if it holds, I could. This is that old weekly res. Looks like it wants a deeper correction on last week's range expansion before setting the weekly low. If the S&P stays, which the S&P is now losing its demand. S&P losing demand, Bitcoin checking an old daily res. I don't even know if that's a daily. Oh yeah, very old daily res. Here's your 21 exponential retest. You have that up here. So you're coming into the 50 on Bitcoin now, and you're testing the 21 exponential now. So it could hold support down here, for sure. So if you did catch the short on Hype, you might want to think about taking profits. Maybe at the low of day or ahead of it, like 38.52. Go ahead, take profits, set your stop to break even. And anything else that you might have taken while Bitcoin is testing that daily. A daily 21 exponential. Big volume coming up here. We're not seeing it yet on the profile. I would definitely want to see that volume kick up on the profile to kind of confirm that people are buying the daily 21 exponential. Okay. Gold's starting to roll over a little bit. Or at least it's trading under that daily swing low. Let me see if it ultimately made a lower low on the 5-minute. It did not yet. But we are starting to see that rejection. So if gold rejects here, I would buy Bitcoin maybe. It's not showing us that there's a lot of buying taking place here. But the fact that liquidity's thin down here Now, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin will reverse. Please understand. It's just we've noticed that it does tend to like to reverse at very big liquidity and very thin liquidity zones. It's thin liquidity in here. Hang on one second. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me get it back over here so you can at least watch Bitcoin's price. Just be careful if you're trying to buy it. You're not really seeing elevated volumes here. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's starting to get that downside continuation now. S&P's not looking so hot. Pepsi's looking good. If you took the Pepsi trade with me last Thursday, you can take profits. Okay? Definitely take profits here. This was our first profit target. I mean, you're more than in it. And like I said, it would be about a $200 reward when we were risking $100 on the trade. Right? We were risking the 123, and this was our first take profit. It's getting hit right now, so kudos to you if you took that trade. Looking good. We bought the 145 strike though, so it'll look, or sorry, the 140 strike is what we bought. Why do I think it's the 145? Yeah, it's the 140. It's literally $5 from being in the money. So this needs to be brought down to 140. Oh, I remember why we paid, what, $4.50 for the trade. That's why I moved it up there. But it doesn't have to be up there. Right in there. It'll be good. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this going forward. I mean, it's looking really good now. Potential resistance 138.44 on the Pepsi trade. Nice. That's a nice one. We're at lows on LPT, daily lows, good. Fart coin not quite at daily lows. Hype coin almost hit daily lows. Look at that. That's why I say always take profits before, ahead of the daily low, because things like this happen. These are the types of things that you will see once you've got enough experience in the markets. Just time is all you need. Time and experience. We've been knocking it out of the park pretty good. We didn't do real good yesterday, but we didn't do bad yesterday. I had to close out a losing S&P scalp. which I'll probably have to close another one of those out today. I'm going to give it a second here. Bitcoin's trading under the daily 21. That's that weekly res point. Looking good. Yeah, we're almost to the bottom of that. We're still not seeing a volume signature for it though. It doesn't have to give you a volume signature like that either. I mean, it rolled over from here and look at look at the volume up there, you know what I mean? Like, everything works in trading, just not all the time. These things that we want to see, generally, they don't usually happen that. It usually doesn't happen that way. Gold still is not taking out that 5-minute swing low. And it really needs to. But with Bitcoin coming off, with risk coming off, I don't know that you're going to see gold come off. Especially when it's looking like that. We'll see if it does, though. All right, anybody else got any other tickers they want me to take a look at, seeing how we're just sitting here letting all these trades work in our favor? Hype really hasn't yet. I should have, I got up and walked away from the monitor when that happened. I didn't have a take profit out there. That's all right though. There is account growth, and that's what we go for. That's what we're doing this for, to grow the accounts. Bitcoin down a full 1.2% on the day. This 618 retracement is, I don't remember what it is. I keep forgetting it. I don't know if it's the May. I have got way too many levels up here. Okay, so it's the weekly range. Last week's range. No, it's the monthly one. We don't have last week's range up there. I would rather look at last week's. 50% retracement of last week's range all the way down to 3-day support. 3-day looking bad. 3-day a bearish engulfing. It's this 3-day support. It shouldn't be support because it did break down and broke down here as well. We can get rid of it though, because June's open is right at the demand. We got June's VWAP here. So this is the ultimate support level for the month of July, hopefully. ETH down 3% almost, 2.78%. BOEM down 5%. Hype almost getting down the lows. Are we losing Bitcoin dominance? Is that what's going on? We were strong on dominance. Yeah, that's what's going on right now, guys. That's why your alts are getting a bounce and Bitcoin is trading at the daily lows. Bitcoin's dominance is falling off. Like, that's what's going on. That's why our alts are bouncing. S&P's still holding that demand. I'm gonna have to turn on the fan. All right. All right, so while we're just waiting for our trades to continue to make money, let's go over here and look at some other stuff. Let's find another trade for maybe tomorrow. Get ahead of the curve. Jasmine didn't really work out yet. It could be going to work out still, but where's the daily open? Right there, dummy. Okay. Yeah, Jasmine could potentially be another short side entry, but I don't love it. It hasn't really gotten the expansion that Bitcoin got. And Bitcoin might find support down here. Big volume spikes. Not really on the bullish candles though. It's that daily 21. It's going to have to hold on a closing basis for us to continue to like it. Tesla rolling back over. Go look at Apple. Wonder what caused Apple to bounce. I wonder if this would be a good short. I don't understand why the daily time frame does not match up. The opens do not match up. Intraday out to the daily. Oh, it does. So finally it worked. Microsoft is down on the day. Microsoft has. So if Microsoft closes under this point, 494.56, if Microsoft closes the day under that, you will have a shooting star formation on the daily time frame. That's not much to go on for looking, but I mean, if you're long Microsoft from down here, then clearly you should take profits if you get that shooting star formation or evening star reversal formation. Microsoft or Nvidia is kind of doing it. You're retesting the old all-time high. Meta pulling back, Google pulling back, everything tech is pulling back today. Netflix is even pulling back. AMD is pulling back, but we want AMD to pull back. I don't think anything was said match. You know, everything has to be looked at as a pullback until you get bearish signals on the daily time frame. Everything needs to be looked at as a pullback only because everything is super bullish. Oh, that Pepsi is beautiful. We got in it and it literally went up every single day since. We bought it here. It's literally been up, up, up. We bought this based on a liquidation break. We took out May's low, liquidated it the previous day. So the next day we opened and it was trading above the liquidation level, which was May's low. As long as it's trading above the level, we can get long, expecting prices to trade back up into the range based on a liquidation break strategy. And it's working out. And it's signaling a buy and everything now on the daily. But we got what we were looking for on that one. This one's pulling back. This one has been a winner pretty much all year. This one might need to consolidate for some time. Ooh, what is that? Huge volume spike on a down day here on Anglo Gold Ashanti, which is a gold miner, but it's one of my favorite other than gold plays. Like instead of trading spot gold or gold futures or options on futures or GLD, you can trade Anglo Gold Ashanti. It trades pretty good with gold. Huge volume spike here. That was probably stops getting ran, or like a trailing stop loss. A Broadcom, Carvana. Peter's looking for Carvana to break out. Peter Resnicek. He's got a long on Carvana right now. I think he's got a butterfly or a broken wing butterfly on it. Not quite there today, but it's looking like it's going in the right direction. Here's the other not gold miner, and Agnico Eagle Mines. Also pulling back today. But gold was super bullish. But these things are not, I mean, it's triggering a sell on the daily right now. Today was a stop run day, gap fill stop run. Because yesterday was a sell. So if you want to short AEM, as long as you close under 119.09 today, any pullback into that level, say tomorrow, it's 118.93. You can use the daily high if you want. It don't matter to me. The daily close is the one I would focus mostly on, but either or is fine. The whole point is we want to see it close down in this area, and then Wednesday we want to see something like that happen. AI rolling over. AMAT. It just had a fresh trendline breakout, so I'm not looking on that, not liking that. Boeing. Looking okay. Cat is overbought. Just filled a gap. Let this pull back. Literally filling that gap as we speak. Colgate. This is just choppy and range bound. This is a good premium selling. Coin is giving us that pullback that we're looking for, but we want a deeper correction. S&P 500 is back up to hourly res. Hourly res here. Bitcoin. No, baby. I've been live since 9:15. Circle rolling over. Capital One overbought, breaking out on a volume spike yesterday, but we're under the highs, so that could have been more sell side. I don't know though. I wouldn't be shorting that. This could be a multi-day runner here. Yeah, if it rejects yesterday's highs, then it might not be a multi-day runner. The option expert, you got earnings way too close. The expiration would have to be very near term, and I wouldn't like that. Same goes for Cintas. Cintas is a dry cleaning company, but I mean, they do good. This is a good stock. Look at this thing. Yeah. These people be making money cleaning clothes. Uniforms mostly from other companies. Disney. So I would wait for Disney to liquidate this. What is it? A 3-year range? 3 years. I don't see how they're making money. Every movie and thing they put out recently is getting bombed. So they must be making money at their parks. I mean, I know they're making money at their parks. This is a bullish engulfing yearly candle, though. I don't want to do anything unless I get a liquidation break. Like liquidate and then break back into the range. If we get that, then I can potentially buy puts on Disney. The Disney's, I got an alert on set. It'll alert me if it does it. I don't want to buy puts, or I could potentially sell calls. But here's the problem. You never know how big the breakout will be. Ooh, hourly res held on risk. Bitcoin's probably got more downside to go. We just looked at that. Bam. Hammer time. All right, let me close that. That is not the kind of reaction I want to see for holding calls. Right? No, not good. eBay moving higher. I'm just going through random stuff unless you guys have something specifically you want me to look at. Just looking for something to trade tomorrow. because we're pretty much set. I mean, there's no point in... I don't see any reason to close. Uh-oh, what happened? There we go. I don't see any reason to close any of these things yet. I mean, it's going back in our direction. LPT, this one's driving me crazy. I'm closing that right now. This one's just pissing me off and it's costing too much money. All right, I'm out of LPT completely. No taking profits, no nothing. Just closing that out. Now watch it take off to the downside and drop 87%. But I mean, it's all right. I've been sitting in it for what, a few days, 2 days now. Pendle's bouncing as well. But I'm gonna hold it. Bitcoin making fresh daily lows. The gold just will not break down. You got to be careful when you see this kind of price action. If you're short gold, please be careful. You made fresh, that's a fresh 5-minute low since the New York Open, right? But it's not getting any kind of continuation lower. And now that S&P 500 is breaking down, got to be real careful. Just be careful if you're short gold. Because I would say any minute now this thing is going to start climbing again. Yeah, GLD not breaking down. Jasmine went back up and tested the July Open again. See, when something is illiquid like this, you get not really good price action. Bitcoin was absolutely beautiful. July Open, straight down. I mean, you can't beat that. That's the kind of expansion we like to see. Come on, you can go down there and grab that last chunk. Then show us a bounce. I don't know that I would be a buyer of Bitcoin right here, right yet. You can be. It is testing the daily 21, but you're getting downside continuation. Downside expansion. I like it better at that June VWAP if it can get there. 105.5. If it loses that, you're going to lose the 21 on the daily. And its range is bigger than yesterday's. Well, no, it isn't. Well, this is an average from the 14 days. $2,500 ranges. We're currently down $1,400 from the open. Let's see what we got on the entirety of today's range. 18,888. So you could see what was it, 25? Yeah, 2,500. So Bitcoin could go down to 105.0 before it finishes the daily range out. And that would be within the average true range. So you might not really see buyers start kicking in until 105.0. Yeah, I mean, this looks perfect for downside continuation. There goes hype. Let's go, baby. Fartcoin's starting to stretch out to the downside. I'm not in Fartcoin though. Fartcoin was structured bullish, so I don't want to short it, right? I've said that enough, I think. This one is bearish. It is weak overall. Down on the year. Last month closed negative. But you're at monthly support. That's why it's struggling to break down. The Pendle trade is struggling to break down because you're literally, you're right at a potential support zone. If we could get let me see here. This is going to be that support. So if Pendle gets back up to May's open, I would short it again there. That's going to be that monthly support. I won't short it if it's trading above this May open. But if it stays trading under the May open, I would short it again. Be willing to short it again and looking for a breakdown, which we're currently getting the breakdown now. It's just bouncing, but it's bouncing under the support. So it's okay. But I can't short it if it's trading above the support. It has to be under it. It has to show me that it's failing to go up. So we got 42 minutes on this hourly. I'm going to be curious to see if it closes under $33.40. If it does, I'm going to add to the position. I'm going to add to that short. Because it's weak. And that gives me a potential downside target of May's low. You got a double bottom right here. That is in the retail space called a double bottom or equal lows. Whatever you want to call it, it's a perfect target for trade talk. A downside target. Thanks, babe. My baby girl's just now getting out of bed. I didn't feed the cats or anything, so she just brought me a cup of coffee. She busy. Thanks. I also needed that. Awesome. Just making money on a random Tuesday. What are you doing? Good stuff. Yeah, I like it. I like this much lower as long as it can stay trading under that price. It does look a little bit extended when you look at it like this. To the downside, it's pretty much been going straight down. But yeah, I can definitely see it. You want to, when you have a weak asset that's going down, you want to short those peaks. That's what we're looking to do, right? So if we could get another expansion out of this, we could be looking for a target down in this region. I should really use my pen. I mean, I bought it. Why not use it? Right? Like that. Beautiful. Beautiful. I don't know that that's going to happen clearly, but it looks like it's going to. Something similar to this would be nice. And then this is our downside target. Yeah, I like it. Got a very small volume spike. That was Saturday and Sunday, so it's not even a volume spike. It's normal trading volume, like below normal. I don't really like that. I would like to see higher volume on the downside push. But it is what it is. Jasmine, looking the same on volume. What do we got on the ticker tape? Anything screaming as a short? Someone brought up audio yesterday, but I don't know if they wanted to short it. Oh, it looks weak. Yeah, it looks bad. This one's trading at fresh all-time lows. Yeah, something like this would be almost too dangerous to short because it's been going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. 7 months in a row. So this one would be a dangerous short. This is the type of thing that you can see spike your face off. That one day right there was 100% gain. Almost. An 80% day. My goodness. See, you're losing steam on volume too. I'm gonna put this thing on alert. Let's see, where should we have it alert us? Right here, daily res. Okay, let me put it on normal. It's on log. We're still within the 5 spots, so that wouldn't be that big of a bounce. And that could give us, you would only be up 7%. I'm looking for something like this to participate in because the volume is literally drying up. So if, and I'm only going to be buying momentum. So if it does get a big spike and start moving higher, I could be a buyer and just scalp the momentum as it goes up. But clearly be looking to get out the same day because these wicks fail. All these spikes have failed. All of them fail. There at the end of 2024, you had a series of a couple months where it went up. All right, so yeah, we'll put an alert on audio just because the volume is drying up. It did, to be fair, just have a spike not too long ago. And it wasn't a very big one. Let's go look at the purple list, see if we got anything over there. BITO got crushed. So, yeah, it didn't work out, did it? This is why you have to set stop losses. It doesn't always work. You have to be ready for the times when it doesn't. We were actually looking for that to hold support on BITO. It did not. Clearly. Big gap down. That would have hurt. That gap down would have freaking hurt. That is not the yearly open. What is it? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, this is another one that's just getting absolutely ravaged. Adam as well. Avalanche broke down out of its ascending wedge. Getting downside continuation. AXS. I think a lot of these are going to be done for, in my opinion. Too many people are looking to trade other things that have to do with Bitcoin now. There's still a lot of people that are interested in trading alts, but they're just trading the momentum. They're just speculation vehicles at this point. If you own alts, my opinion is probably get rid of them. I mean, unless you're holding it for purely speculational bounces or speculational spikes, like what we were just talking about on audio. If that's the reason you're holding it, please get out on the spikes if you get the spikes, because not all of them do spike. Like, this one used to be so strong. I remember trading it when it was super strong. But ultimately, it did get caught up. Compound was looking good in June and not so much anymore. Doge. I haven't heard anything about this in a long time. Late last year. People are wanting to see an alt season. You got to give it to them. I think too many people are investing in Bitcoin, and now alt season is like dried up, right? When was the last time we actually seen a significant drop on dominance? Yeah, 2020, 2021. It's been pretty much straight up ever since. And guess what? You really haven't seen an alt season since. Yeah. That's what's hurting the alt season. Polkadot. Used to be $30, $40 a token. Now it's $3. EGLD. Jasmine Kusama. Ugh. Luna. Where you at, Luna? Just straight down. Down, 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 down. Garbage. Shiba Inu. This one made people rich back in the day. Right back where it came from. Oh, but did it go, man? It went. I made some money on that. This thing was ripping. All the good old days of crypto, are they gone forever? Is there anything popping up on penny stocks? I don't have my scanner running, so I have to use TradingViews. Let me open. Oh, I don't want to add a symbol. Let's see if we got percent gainers. BGLC. Yeah. But it's done probably. The majority of it came pre-market. Oh, let's go see Archer. I don't know if you guys heard about this or not, but this is the drone space that I've been telling people to kind of just put a few of these on their watch list, because the drone space, as we know, is getting, some of them are getting a little bit of a pop based on so many conflicts around the world. But Archer actually has contracts with big defense companies, I think. So Archer, and also Kathy Woods mentioned something about this. Kathy Woods, let's go ask Grok. Let's see if Grok can find it. Kathy Woods, through her ARK Invest ETFs, has been notably active with her Archer Aviation and Corp, a company developing electric vertical takeoff and landing eVTOL aircraft for urban air mobility. Below is a summary of her involvement with ACHR based on available information. Significant purchases. June 13, 2025, ARK Invest, led by Kathy Wood, purchased 3,400,000 shares of Archer across the ARK Innovation ETF, ARK Autonomous Technology and Robotics ETF, ARK-Q, ARK-K, and ARK-X, valued at approximately $40 million. This followed a 14% stock price drop. Let's go, hang on. So I wonder if ARK-K was the most significant one. It just still has not recovered, has it? But we're just getting ready. Like, a lot of people think this year could be just sideways and choppy, and I'm not saying that it couldn't be, but I see a lot of macro functions, or a lot of macro things hitting like the perfect scenario for a lot of these things to really start to take off again. So, and Archer's a $10 stock. So could it end up like SPE or SPCE? Yeah, it could. So make sure you only invest with an amount of money that you can afford to lose. But it still wouldn't be a bad idea to buy a few shares. GOBY is another company that deals with drones. Dragonfly. I bought this one down here at like 238, I think is what my average fill is. Let me see. 225. I got in at 225. No. Yeah, I did. I got in at 225. I don't see how. There's not even a wick. I thought for sure I bought it on the second day after it had a massive collapse, but the low is 234. So clearly I had to have bought it on this day. Wait. I could have bought it on this day right here. I know for sure I did not buy it on this day, because I was looking at it and it had a significant drop and then no downside continuation. That was the reason for the purchase. So I must have bought it on this day right here, because the fill price is 225. Just a few shares of it, nothing major, you know what I mean? Because if it does explode in value, be a good price to own it at. Drones are the future for warfare. UMAC is another, Unusual Machines is another drone company. And then this is a biotech company that I put on watch just because it's got a lot of volume. It popped up on a volume alert that I run. I run a bunch of different scanners. It popped up on an unusual volume activity scanner. And it's had a lot of unusual volume activity as of lately. But this is a very, very risky investment. Very risky. So if you buy a few shares, just buy a few shares. No leverage. I'm not putting any leverage on trades like that. They're just buying holds. But there's four little drone plays. Let me see here. This one's holding support at the 20. Oh, let's go ahead and buy some of those. RX. I don't want to trade options on it. The options are very illiquid and very... Do not trade options on that. Very illiquid. There is no open interest. And that's 38 days out. So leave that alone. If you're going to buy the shares. And it's just because of unusual volume activity, and it's holding the daily 21 as support. That's all it is. It's just a technical play. It's holding support. I don't know that it will continue to hold support, but I don't see like any massive significant gaps down either on it. You know what I mean? Like, here's a significant gap down. So it can happen for sure. But I like... Hang on, you do have this volume spike right here to be weary about. But if there's more buying taking place in this daily range than selling, then we should see it start to lift off away from this area. Still trading inside last week. The weekly says it's still not a buy yet. Nowhere near a buy. 4 hour. Yeah, you could see a significant gap down. It does look like people have been trying to buy it through here based on this 4 hour structure. But I like this. Break out above, come back in, retest, and then hold as support. It's making higher lows. This was the liquidation break play here, and it's made higher lows since. So I'm gonna buy a few shares. I'll buy 50. Done. Send it. Long-term hold here just to see if it can get any momentum from this technical setup play based on this unusual activity option or unusual volume that it's been seeing for the last month. All right, what's gold doing now? Is it breaking down or breaking up? Oh, it's still not doing anything. So I will like gold as a short if it fails to close above the daily 21 exponential moving average here. If it fails to close back above the 50 today, I will be watching it tomorrow to position for a potential short. It's starting to roll over. Bitcoin finding support. Liquidation, bounce, maybe. Old weekly res. Do we buy that? I don't know. With that June VWAP down there, we had a target of what? 1050 from liquidations, but y'all think the liquidations are done on Bitcoin? Are we buying it? Bitcoin going to close back above the monthly open today? That would be a 1,000 point move if it did. Our crypto trades are not running away. They're not moving to the downside. And they should have already, to be honest with you. We should be seeing these things crack on to the downside. They're not doing it yet. This one's just got downside continuation forever. Fartcoin's currently trying to put in a fresh daily low. But Fartcoin is still bullish. This might be a buy on Fartcoin as well. Let's see what it does under here. Let me pull Fartcoin up on my exchange. Get that ready to go. Oh, we're in the Matrix. We got that Matrix music going. Neo in the zone. Big volume spike. I'm gonna run people off. You guys are very quiet. What are you doing? Fartcoin moving lower. I don't like the 4-hour structure on Fartcoin either. Not loving the structure here. Let's see what we got on the 8-hour. Ooh, I like that 8-hour. Let's buy a little bit of Fartcoin right here. Just a little bit. Just a teensy weensy little itty bitty bit. We got the money, don't we? Trying to keep up with you, my guy. I haven't really been doing anything. Yeah, I like it right here. We'll see what happens with it. Let's see if it can find some intraday lows here. We got the June VWAP. So, kind of like a June midpoint test, but it isn't a midpoint test, is it? Oh, wow. The June open is just below it. That's an ugly candle. What is that? That has to be a weekly breakdown. Yeah, it is. So it's the weekly breakdown. I think I like that fib. I don't like that monthly range though. That monthly range is disgusting. So yeah, it lost the 50% retracement of June. I don't love that. So I need it. This has to be blue. Ugh. Green, blue. And then my weeklies, I usually make them red. The weekly fibs, because it's a weekly candle, white. Sorry, white, not red. White. White, weekly. Monthlies, I have either green or red, depending on which direction price is going. So that way when I've got it up intraday, I can see what's going on with the range here. This is a weekly fib. And it's a downside fib. So I don't like that it's like failed. and it failed. This is that monthly fib. This is not good. But today's close will be vital for me. It needs to close back above that today. And this. If it does, then I could like it more to the upside to break out and take out this. But the structure already says that it did all of its work up there because it didn't make a lower high. If this would have been a lower high and then pulled back, I would like it a lot more. But since it did ultimately make a higher high and then pull back, I don't like that so much. It just, in a sense, means that for the last 2 days, the sellers have been in control. So right here is kind of where I would want to see the buyers regain that control. I mean, we just made a fresh daily low. So if it is going to be just a liquidation and then break, then we should see it start to really see a volume pickup here or something. And Bitcoin is just really not doing it. And then risk is just range bound. The SPX, just range bound. Now here's yesterday's range. Here's today's range. Inside of yesterday's range. You haven't taken out yesterday's high or low. On risk. On the cash market. But this only trades from 9:30 to 4. The futures market looks a little bit different. Because it trades 24/7. No, we're still inside Monday's swing high. And we want 1800 hours Sunday. Right here. So that's the open. There's your weekly open on your futures market. That's yesterday's low. So we are still trading inside of yesterday's range. No, wait, this is going to be yesterday's low, goofball. That's the weekly open, so that's the low. This is the pre-market low or post-market. No, it's traded during the market hours. 1 o'clock, set the intraday low, but your low of day will be 6170. So that's what the futures market looks like. It's not a bearish day. You know what I mean? It's not. This is not bearish at all. It's just not bullish either. It's a nothing day, a nothing burger. A nothing burger. Pepsi is freaking rocking. That's almost up to $300. Look at that thing. Go. Go, baby, go. Love it. I would love to see everybody that's in the red on Pepsi get out of the red. That's my hopes. I hope Pepsi is done going down for the rest of the year. I would love to see Pepsi trading at 155 by this time December. I mean by December, not this time. By the end of the year, we want to see Pepsi trading at 155. And it's totally possible. Seasonals look good. I mean, yeah. Like, this is a value play for sure. Maybe. We'll see. Time will tell if it's cheap. It's the cheapest it's been in years. 2024, you finished the year down 12%. Right now, we're still down 9% on the year. Where is the target? Let me see. Oh, yeah, 155 is obtainable. They got a max target of 169, analysts. This is the reason why it's been losing money. I posted a big deep in-depth macro analytical look on Pepsi. I posted in the Discord in the stock room. It's a lot to read, but someone said salmonella outbreak. Yeah, they did. It did hurt. We could go over it, I guess, since no one's really. So this is what we got on Pepsi. So I just pause it, or let you guys pause it, and then you can read it. It's literally everything you need to know for a long-term investment decision. And then the last portion of it, I did it in photos because it just was too much writing. So right here, I'm giving you plenty of time to hit the pause button on each one of these little here. And finally here. Oh wait, there's one more. There. Oh, is there another one? My goodness, how many photos? No, that's not. There's only 3. It's going back. Yeah, it's just continuing to go. I thought it would only go do the 3 photos and call it. Wrap it up. But yeah. I honestly don't think it's going to continue to go down. I think 120 would probably be the floor, but if they can, when's their next earnings? Coming up. So we have a decision to make here. They've got earnings on July the 17th. July the 17th. And it's going to be a pre-market earnings report on Pepsi, July 17th. So you might want to think about actually getting out of it before that. Because if they get another, we can see what's being forecasted. Earnings potential. What are they looking for? They're not going to give us expectations yet, I guess. We're too far away. Yeah, they got a lot of debt. I think their latest acquisition is the reason why they have this debt. I remember reading it. And it was a big company they bought. It wasn't no slouch. They bought it thinking that they could turn it around, and they might. Well, anyway, it's doing good right now. We bought that with calls out to December or January of next year, so we got a cool 200 and some days on that. Be all right. It'll be all right. Everything gonna be all right. VIX is still trading at the open of the day, so we don't have to really worry about too much bearishness today. It's back under the yearly open, so as long as it's closing daily candles under 17 spot 21, I like S&P 500 higher. All right. If you start closing dailies back above 1721, then your pullback on the S&Ps could be a deeper correction. But as long as the VIX is closing dailies under this price, I think we're good on risk. I think we're going to see upside. And then let's go look at the volatility of the VIX. Looks good. It looks good. It's not fresh yearly lows, but it's working on it. Now, this is not a, excuse me, let me clear my frogs. This is not a trending asset. This is an oscillating asset. It oscillates like your momentum oscillator. But as long as it's under the yearly open, that's good. There's your yearly low right there. Yearly low on the VVIX. Get under that. That would be nice. And yearly low is going to be gap fill there. Yearly low for the VIX, 1459. Wait. 1459. 1458 is the yearly low. Got it. So that's what we're aiming at. We want to take that out on the VIX. We filled the gap to the upside. We had a gap here. We got that fill here. And we gapped to the upside here, traded sideways. We filled that gap here. Stayed under resistance. Tested resistance on Monday, June 23rd. And then it's been down ever since. So this is where it needs to hold as resistance. You do have an unfilled gap, though, of 1980. So if you start closing dailies on the VIX above 1721, a daily closing candle above that, I wouldn't be a buyer on risk because there's too much of a chance for this gap to get filled. And say what you will about this, all right? Since it's an oscillating asset class, it does really good filling gaps. This, and there's only one more gap on this chart that has not been filled, and that's up here. And you would literally need World War III or something catastrophic to fill this gap. Anything above 25 on the VIX is bad. Like really bad. That's why you don't spend much time above that. So I'm not looking for this gap to fill. Not this year. But it is possible to fill this gap this year. So if we did fill this gap and then start closing days lower, I would absolutely buy long dated calls on the S&P 500. Absolutely. But it has to fill the gap. It has to tag 1981 and then start closing dailies lower. Then I could buy calls on the S&P. Long dated, depending on, I don't know, obviously I have no idea what the price of the S&P pullback would be if we were to fill this gap on the VIX. But there's two scenarios where I can be a buyer on calls. If we're closing dailies under the yearly opening range, I can be a call buyer. And if we fill $20 and close dailies lower than 20, I can be a call buyer. So that's just a setup for the future for you on the S&P, whether you use SPY calls or ES calls or ES futures or just SPX options. Either way, that's what we're looking for. There is an unfilled gap down here at the high month close. Well, now you have a new high month close because we just opened a fresh month. So your new high month close is up here. So we have to write old high month close here as to not get confused. So if we fill this gap here, maybe we fill that VIX gap and start closing lower VIX days, then I will be a call buyer. And you could buy out of the money calls. I wouldn't buy way out of the money calls. I'd be just like 10, 15 points out of the money. I think that position would be okay. So what are we doing back over here on the Fartster? Don't want to go too far away from Fartster because it can really move fast. The fart coin can hurt you badly, very badly. It's very gassy. A very gassy asset. Good morning, Chase. How are you, my friend? What you got for me, Chase? What you got? You got set up a beautiful, beautiful, big, beautiful bill setup. What's WUSD? It's up almost a percent. What is this thing? What are you doing? Why are you up on the day? There's a perpetual swap. Huh. Yuck. Ugh. Disgusting. What are you? How are you this disgusting? Yeah, this is another one that is so stretched out to the freaking downside. There just isn't much juice left to squeeze out of it. So this might be another one that might be worth watching for a spike or setting an alert for a spike. Ugh. I mean, it hasn't really received many spikes. A lot of volume coming in here the last few days. Hey, you're still trading elevated volume on this. What is this? Is this something we should be watching? It's so disgusting, though. Is some big whale pamping this thing up? Or it ain't exit liquidity, is it? There's no way. Could be a short covering rally. If it is a short covering rally, I don't expect it to live long. But it is very curious that you've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of elevated volumes. We're going to put this on watch. I want the same one. This one. Just because there's some curious price action going on here. Very curious. Holding the 50. Ugh. Let's get this on logs so it'll help. Massive bullish divergence going on here. What is going on? I'm nowhere near the... What? Why did you grab that? We got massive divergence here. That could be the reason for it. I don't know that this thing is going to pamp. But we can watch it for a pamp. Might be able to get we're not going to get into it early. It's already been noticed. This thing's already popped up on scanners. But it's been trading with elevated volumes. The last 3 days the volumes were elevated, but not by a whole lot. But next week could be like maybe, or the week after next. It's very curious. Let me see that June open right there. Bear with me. Ooh. Ooh, I like it. I'm buying W right now. Oh, it's very thinly traded. There's only 700,000 shares of volume traded in this. I'm going to buy this very, very, very small. What do I have? Yeah, oh yeah. Let's do that. See, this will be very easy to manage risk to, because if we're trading under this blue line here, or this, or 0.07144, we can just exit it and wait for it to find support maybe down here and then re-enter it. So we're not losing any money, right? It's about managing risk. It isn't about looking pretty. I can give you all the pretty entries you want to see, right? But I would rather you guys just get the foundations of how to manage risk the correct way. I just entered that with a $135 position with 20x leverage. It costed me $1 to get into the trade on a market order. So if I exit it here, I'm going to pay a total of like $10 for the trade. And then I can enter it later on when it does start to see support and get back in and maybe lose another $10. But the upside is massive. There's a massive upside potential. It is just a random alt shitcoin. I understand that, but the last 7 days it has been trading with almost, like, this day right here was like 10 times the normal volume. There's a reason for that. And then every day since has been trading with unusual higher volumes. Now it could be, obviously it's trading with high volume, so it's sparked a lot of interest. Whether those are buyers or sellers, I don't care. But there's interest in the asset. That's all I need. There are a bunch of people interested in this, and it's probably because of this. I don't care if they're shorts or longs, because the max amount of money that I'm going to lose on this is going to be about $10. I'm willing to lose $10 to make up to $1,000. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That is a phenomenal risk to reward. Just make sure you're trading it with tight stops, because it can go quickly in the wrong direction. Very quickly. And it's a fast mover too, so I'm popping this bad boy on the favorites. I want all of the fast movers on one watch list. My problem is I don't know what it's on. What's its ecosystem? And here, I'll show you the trade. Oh, right here. What is this on? Is it Solana, AI, BRC20, Meme, Web 3.0, or what is it on? Does anybody know? Put it in the chat if you know. That way I can find it easier. And more, oh, you already said that. Yeah. It's got such light volume, it would take me an hour to scroll through all of them. I might have to do that. What are we trading at? Ooh, and I like the funding rate on this also. That means it won't cost a lot of money over time to set in this and hold it. The funding rate's good. This is a good asset to trade if it had a little bit more volume. That funding rate's nice. So we can give it a little bit of time. But I just bought it right here. In a sense, if it holds this 4-hour midpoint, that'd be a bullish look. We just opened a brand new 4-hour candle though. That kind of sucks. But July open is a good place I'll be holding it from. I think that was, no, not quite. Oh no, we got plenty of music on the watch list. Let me try BRC20. Nope. Meme. Where are you? Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? If I type in the search bar, just W, it doesn't give me the ability to add it as a favorite. It's got a hot. Can I search via hots? No, but it'll be easier to spot. Bohm is so illiquid. There it is. Bohm is so illiquid, it is not fun to trade. So here's what I got so far for the hot watch list. These are all fast movers. Well, clearly Bitcoin isn't a fast mover, but these are all money makers. Oh, hype's getting crushed down here. What happened with that? Let's go back down here and see what happened with that. That's what happened with it. Yep, see? It went down, did not make a fresh low day, and straight reversed. Been going up ever since. This is the problem with trying to short things. This is a great learning experience right here. Perfect. This is the reason why I don't just short any alt. It has to be weak. Has to be weak on the year, weak on the month, weak. Just weak. That way, if things start to strengthen up, it can still be weak. This one is strong. This one is up on the year, up on the month, up. Very strong inherently to others. So when you short them, they don't work out as often, right? It's all about following a trend. You got to be a trend trader. You got to follow the trend. If you do that the correct way, then you'll find yourself landing trades that work more often. This one isn't working now. It went right to the low of day and reversed. It did not make a fresh low. It turned around ahead of the low. So, yeah, if you're still in this, get out. I mean, there's no point in holding it. This would have been the time to take profits down here. And W, unfortunately, isn't bullish. It is bearish. It's one of the ones that you would generally want to be short. So this one might not work out to the long side. But it's hot right now because for some reason, the last couple weeks, we've seen an influx of volume. Right? Big volumes trading in this recently, so it could take off to the upside. Bitcoin is moving up. Bitcoin finding support. So we're long W, long Fartcoin. We're closing the short hype, and we're still holding Pendle short. But it's also spiking. So we got Bitcoin spiking, we got dominance. What's dominance doing now? It was rolling over. It's getting its strength back up. It's strong on the day. Here's your daily. Your daily range on dominant is up. You're near the highs of day. What are we doing on gold? Gold's still rolling, but very slowly rolling over. Very slowly rolling over. Gold is testing the 618 of last week's range. The breakdown range on gold. That's the only reason why we were looking for a short. We know the trend line is there, but we also know, it's a trend line. I don't put much weight on trend lines. They're subjective. I put more weight on objective levels. So objectively speaking, if we lose the 618 of last week's range, then we could be seeing this downtrend continue. It's a near-term downtrend. It's a 2-week, 3-week trend. 1, 2, this could be a potential pullback week. Just a bounce to stop out all the near-term shorts. And then once they've got them all stopped out, the big sellers come back in and hit it hard again. Or just profit taking, whatever has sparked this near-term reversal in gold. That's why we have a near-term kind of short side bias on it. Not really, just kind of. So for me to keep that, I would love to see this level act as resistance. moving forward. If it doesn't, then you have to give away, you got to get out of it and respect the longer term uptrend. Yeah. What do you think of Pepe as a part of the hot list? Let's give it a look. I have a cat named Pepe. What's the best exchange to look at it? The one that's going to have the most liquidity. Well, it's very ugly on the year, but we'll see. We'll see what's going on with it. June was down. I like that. The W would be a short if it wasn't getting a high volume. Oh yeah, this is breaking down. That's the range we're stuck in. Oh yeah, looks good to the downside. I don't like it. I don't like it for like near-term upside volatility. I like it for downside continuation. The difference this has the same trending dynamics that W has. The only difference between this one and W is this one doesn't have any open interest in it. It's not it doesn't have strong relative open interest. The volume is trading below average, actually. So nobody's really paying attention to this one. Yeah, I mean, nobody's really paying any attention to this. So, I mean, it could be a fast mover, and it could be something that we could put on the watch. You know what I mean? For near-term shorts. Absolutely. It's even down right now, making fresh daily lows. So this would be like one of my favorites to hedge off upside Bitcoin positions. Like, I don't want to just have my whole crypto portfolio long. I would like to get some trades that are just inherently weak to cover any downside risk. I like it lower. Ultimately, I think it's going to go lower. If we see an influx in volume in the next couple days, then maybe that will change. But as of right now, you can see there really isn't that much interest in it at all. Interest is waning. So it'll probably just go right back to melting off. There was a lot of interest in it here. You can see how the interest sparked up. Nobody was trading it, and then boom. Then that brought in the traders, the liquidity. And you got some upside continuation, but then sideways trading made everybody lose interest on it. There's a couple people probably holding longer term shorts, and let's go see if it's expensive, because the funding rate can also absolutely cause people to quit trading it if it's an expensive thing to hold. Unfortunately with Pepe, for me, I can't trade it. I can trade the 1,000 Pepe contract. So my prices are different. You can see on this, on Coinbase, the price is 0.0000009. Well, on weeks, the coins are lumped into thousands. So if you buy one, you're actually buying 1,000 Pepes. Let me show you. See how it says 1,000 Pepe USDT? That means each one you buy is actually 1,000. So it's already levered up. Its funding rate isn't that bad. It's not that bad. Not that bad. We'll see. It's a little extended to the downside. I really don't see a trade on it today. It's already moved. It's already made its move for the day, but we'll keep it. I'll keep it on watch. Let me put it over here, so that way we can just keep an eye on it. But I don't see an opportunity on it right yet. If we get an opportunity on it, we will take it. or that RX thing I bought just a little bit ago is already moving. Like I bought it right here. Let's see if it can break out above 547 and get some continuation. That's the range to beat. I don't know that it will, but that's the range to beat. And then W is slowly losing its momentum here. Yeah, this thing is a mover. This one will be fun, I think. If it can bring in more interest, it should be fun. I don't make tons of it, but I am able to get in and out on Binance and been shorting it on weeks. Appreciate your input. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, as far as making tons, you don't have to right now. Right now, you're just in the process of learning how to do it. So like, especially if you're new at this, it's not about making money right now. Right now is just learn the process, get a strategy, build the rule set, and then once you have your rule set and your strategy defined, you can then start making money. Most retail struggles with a lot of fundamental reasons, like fundamental things that's keeping them from profitability. A, they overtrade. B, they can't identify a trend. C, they get stuck on one thing. Or D, they put all their eggs in one basket. Like there are just there's a million reasons. I'm just giving you some quick ones right off the top of my dome why retail traders fail. Main one, I think, is over trading and revenge trading. I think that hurts a lot of people. I think a lot of people have lost a lot of money doing this, and they think that it's a lost cause, or they're still trying to go at it the same way that you see on Wall Street bets. You know how those people are literally just trying to get rich. That's all they care about is getting rich. And yet none of them do make it. They get, like, I've seen crazy people on Wall Street bets make like thousands of X's on their money, and they just keep throwing their whole wad in. Eventually they're going to strike out. With that mindset, you're never going to be able to make life-changing wealth. You need to learn the process of trading, and even then it is not easy, because even though it might seem like I'm really good at identifying things to trade and identifying the trend and everything, I still take losing trades. So once you learn how to be a good analyst, first it's find what people are trading, then dissect the trend. And I don't mean this trend. I don't want you to look at a monthly chart and be like, oh, it just goes down, so short it. That doesn't help anybody. And that isn't always true either, right? There are the things that I'm doing every day, that is to help you see that I take the same approach to the markets every single day. And I use the same approach on everything I trade. So I don't trade, I got different strategies, clearly, that I can trade, that I can implement, but I approach the markets the same way. I want to know, is it up on the year, down on the year? I want to know which way is it trending today, this month, this year. I don't give a shit about what it did last year or the year before that I don't care about that. Because I know, because I've been doing this a long enough time. Like, for instance, Pepsi. I don't care what it did over here on this side of the chart. I don't care. I'm definitely the only support and resistance levels that I'm going to be using from past price action are going to be yearly lows or yearly opens or yearly highs. I really don't care about like this, right? Like, how many retail traders do you see on YouTube that's like, well, it bounced from, it's reversed here and here, so this looks like a resistance, right? There's a resistance, so we can short it if it goes back. That isn't going to do anything for you. It isn't. It literally isn't. Because look what happened to it when it traded into it here. If that level was going to be resistance or was a level to pay attention to, the market would have definitely reacted to it. It just blasted right through. If you had been a retail buyer right here on Pepsi based on that resistance, it didn't work. You just need to know what levels to focus on and how to identify trend, momentum, things like that. And once you know all that stuff, then you can build scanners. Like, I have 1 million scanners I run. I got momentum scanners. I've got scanners that tell me when unusual options activity is taking place. I've got scanners that tell me when unusual volume is taking place, because I want to participate in the things that have participation. I don't want to trade things that are not being traded. They're not likely going to move as good. Or in the crypto world, you can get tore up by fees, for instance, getting in, getting out, getting in, getting out. You can get tore up by fees. If you overtrade, you can have a 50% hit rate. In theory, you should be profitable, but you're paying so much in fees, you're losing money. It's about saving money. We need to make sure that what we're trading is moving, and then we need to put the probabilities on our side. We want to know, is this stock or is this crypto bullish or bearish? And once we know that, then we can look for, if it's bullish, we can look to buy pullbacks. If it's bearish, we can look to sell resistance. And then if it's like really active, unusual volume or unusual options or whatever, then we may be able to get into it and catch the expansion. That's what we want. We want the meat of the move. We don't care about top ticks and bottom ticks. Chasing stuff like that will wreck you. And you don't need a lot of money in the crypto land because you can do so much leverage. You do not need big position sizes like everyone thinks. Like, I'm in W, for instance. You can calculate in a sense and see what that thing can potentially do. So we bought this support retest. Well, it ain't support, it's July's open. We just know that if people are going to get long, they're going to do it here. We just know that. Look at the volume. It came in right through here. So I'm in it with $100. If this thing blows up and goes just bonkers, which they can, we've seen it before. So like right now, I'm up $50. That's a 50% return on investment. And it's barely moved. Well, it's up. It's 33. I'm up $45. The position size here. It's up $46. It's a 34% return on investment. I paid $1 to get in the trade. $1. And I use this much of my equity. I have $15,000 I can use. I put $135 to work. Now I know $45 isn't life-changing money, but it hasn't even moved yet. It's not even moved. Now coming back over here, look at this. That's a 6% move right up to there. Imagine if you catch an 80% move or a 90% move. You're going to have 1,000x on investment. That's what it's about. You're essentially risking a very small amount of money to potentially make large lumps of cash. Once you can do that, and you can do that on a, I don't know, 40 or 35% hit rate, you're going to be way ahead. You're going to be profitable. If you're losing $10, $15 and making $500, $600, you are going to be way ahead. And crypto provides opportunities like that. Last week, I took 3 positions. Was it last week? Let me go see here. I think it was last week we started doing these lives daily, like back to back to back, right? 4 days ago, 6 days, 7 days ago. All right, so right here, 7 days ago. Okay, so last week, I had 3 positions open. None of the positions had more than $250 per trade. And I was up, I think I was using $600, something like that total. And just the 3 positions, I had an open unrealized P&L of almost 800, or it was more than that, I think, like almost $900. I was using $600 and I had an open unrealized gain of $900. You can make quite a bit of money. If you can do that once a week, you're going to do just fine over a 10-year period. You're going to be crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. Your whole life will change. Because you will start to understand the very fundamental basics of managing risk and participating in the right things and all of that stuff. Then you won't even need to come to my YouTube channel anymore. You will be doing this all by yourself. And that is the goal. That's my goal. To help you one day be able to do this by yourself. So that way you no longer need to look at Twitter and YouTube or any social media platform to find a trade. You can do it yourself. That is so freeing. And then it won't be long, you'll be able to retire from your job. You just got to get the stuff that no one wants to get. You got to do it. You got to do the grind. You got to go through the losing first. Then you got to fix it. You got to have a strategy. You can't just have 500 different strategies and try to go at this. It isn't going to work. If you're buying, say you're buying Pepsi because of a cup and handle. Right? I'm buying it because of a cup and handle. Well, why are you short or long Pepe? Oh, because what's his name on Twitter said blah, 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 blah. That's not being consistent. You're not even, there's no consistency in that. You got to be very consistent with your approach. Once you get that, the profitability comes after, because then you really start to get the ins and outs of this game. Ins and outs. That's what people need to learn. The ins and outs. These little subtle things that people find very boring that I'm doing, but here I am day after day doing the exact same things. And here I am day after day nailing fantastic trades. And yeah, that's how. I'm using the exact same approach to everything. I don't know that W word turn into anything. I have no clue. I can't see into the future. And I think a lot of people think that it's my ability to predict a price movement. My ability to do that has nothing to do with if I make money or not. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody being able to make money. Nobody has the ability to predict price. Nobody. What people are good at is identifying opportunity. That's what people are good at. That's where the skill comes into trading. Identify the trend, identify the opportunity, then apply risk with very fundamental risk management in the works, and you will nail fantastic opportunities. A lot of them. They will start just racking up. You will start to get cocky and you will think you can't miss. And then you will go back to gambling. And the one day that you say, you know what, I am so good at this now, I'm going to bet the freaking farm. That's the day that you come right back to my channel trying to relearn it again because you went off script. You got on tilt. Going on tilt destroys traders. It destroyed Jesse Livermore, and I don't know of anybody that wouldn't say that Jesse Livermore is probably one of the best traders to have ever lived. That man went from broke to rich, back to broke, back to rich, and then died broke. I wouldn't classify him as one of the best traders to ever live. Did he make millions of dollars? Of course he did, but he lost it all and died. That's not a great. He had a fantastic story, but I don't think I would classify him as one of the greatest traders to ever live. Paul Tudor is one of the greatest traders to ever live because he's still a billionaire, right? The guys that kept the money, those are the best. Those guys, those are the true geniuses in this game. Anybody can gamble with $50,000, $60,000 position sizes. And I know that's what the YouTube algorithm wants. I literally had people trying to give me money just to trade on their platform. They're going to give me 50 grand so that way I could grow an audience. I'm like, look, dude, that's not my game. I'm not selling people stuff. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to teach them. Of course, I don't want your money. I'm not going to trade big open positions. If I am making $50,000 and $60,000 per trade, of course the channel is going to grow. Of course, if I'm in a position with $1 million, $1.5 million, people are going to tune in to see it either get rich or blow up. That's not my goal. My goal is to teach you guys how to do this so that way you can do it at your desk by yourself. You won't need anybody's help or anybody's opinion. In fact, you'll do what I do and drown all that stuff out. People tell me their opinions all the time. What they think an asset is going to do does not matter to me. I don't, you know what I mean? Because I know they have no idea what that asset is going to do. There's no edge. There's nothing out there that's going to tell you this asset is going to do this in this amount of time. Nothing. No analysis in the world. If you do know something like that, then I would probably say you're an insider. And that's not legal in this country. You're not allowed to know stuff and then make trades on it, on the info you know. That's illegal. Sure, our government does it all the time, but I'm not the government. But there is an edge in this. It's called risk management, and identify the trend, identify the opportunity. Penny scalpers, you can make money scalping penny stocks. For sure, a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money because you're really over leveraged. But if you're very good at jumping in and jumping out at the right times, you can make a lot of money. You'll pay a lot in fees, but as long as you're making more than you're paying, you're going to do good. I don't like that style. I'm the kind of guy that I like to set my position and forget it. Set it, forget it. I'm already moving on to the next opportunity because I like looking at things in the green. If I'm looking at something and it's in the red, I am quick to get rid of that. I don't care if it could turn around. That's not what I'm in this for. I'm not putting money at risk for it to potentially turn around. If it's losing, I'm getting rid of it. It's out. I want my portfolio to be green. Green. Everything needs to be green. Just as soon as it becomes red, I'm out. It's no longer going in my direction, therefore why hold it? For a maybe case? Nah. I don't want to work on maybes. I want to be the person that's in control of what's working and what's not. So we shed the losers, we keep the winners. And then when something moves in your position or in your favor, be quick to take profits, set stops to break even, and move on. Small little things. So many people are just so close to getting it. They just need to tweak a few things. Well, I'm here to hopefully help you tweak that so that way you can make your own money. My dad told me something when I was a young boy. He said, unless you go to college, and even these days that don't matter, but when I was a kid back in the 90s. He said, unless you go to college, you'll never make enough money to retire. You'll work your entire life and never be able to retire. You will not make enough money to get ahead. So you need to do what rich people do. And that stuck with me my whole life. My dad is never made money. And I work for myself. My dad always had a boss. So that's my best advice to you. Learn how to use your money and make it work for you. You don't work for money. You make money work for you. This is the way to do that. This is the way to do that. You just got to throw all the gambling stuff that you've learned away. Yeah, you got to stop the bad habits. You got to quit over leveraging yourself. If you don't have a lot of money, that's okay. You can open an account with $500, and then that account within a year could be literally making you tens of thousands of dollars. You can size up in this business. You can make a lot of money with very little risk. No one is going to find what I'm doing attractive. But what they do think is attractive is if they open up my withdrawal page. That's attractive to everybody because I consistently make withdrawals, weekly withdrawals. Every week, I am pulling money out of my account. Every week. That is what you're here for, to learn how to do that. I haven't bought a cryptocurrency in so long. Why would I buy them? I'm about withdrawing cash. All right, we're going to hang on one second. We're going to wrap this up pretty quick. If you do have a question, you can hit me up with it right now. I'm going to run through just a couple more things over here, and then we're going to wrap this up because it's noon, 1 o'clock almost. We've been live for hours, 9:15. And the most of the opportunities for the day, either we're going to get continuation on positions we already have, or everything's going to slow down and start chopping around, right? We know that. Most of the volume has already been traded today. So now it's look for something for tomorrow. Apple is giving back a lot of its gains on the day. The VIX is still trading near the lows. Microsoft pulled back a little bit heavy last hour. But I think these are like Nvidia and Microsoft are too extended to be doing anything with, right? These have already made their moves. I like Amazon. We're going to watch Amazon to see if it can hold support. If it can, we'll look for a breakout back above the yearly opening range. But I would like to see it form near-term support first. Show me that it's potentially doing it, right? And I like it would be better if we could catch it doing something like this with the moving average. It doesn't always work out that way, clearly, but in my opinion, if they start to squeeze like that, when they do break out, they break out pretty good. So we'll wait for Amazon to pull into support. Google is maybe pulling into support. It's trading above both of its major moving averages. That's a good sign. But Google's still bearish on the year. So Google is weaker than its tech brethren. But it did close the month up. So that's good. So we'll keep Google watch. We'll keep watching Google. This week right here looks good. So we're not seeing that this week. Clearly, we're seeing most things pull back this week. That's good. That's what we want to see. And then we want to see people jump back on it when it does pull back. Meta is at highs. Tesla. I'm going to leave Tesla alone until it finds support. It could find support here, but we'll see. I think this just got over. Like that was the downside target, and for it to gap right through it so big, I think Tesla's going to have to chew some stuff up. I don't really know what's going on with Tesla. We're still trading inside of May's range. So I think the May fib is the only fib that we need to focus on. Hang on. So if we look at, it's bearish on the year. I get it. But it's in May's range. So if it can defend this, I like it. That's the 786 of May's retracement. So what? 291. That's the max. I don't want to see it much lower than that. Because if you're closing dailies under this, then you're threatening May's low, which is right there. But if it can hold support here, you've got a 200 exponential there. Yeah, this is going to be an important week, but I think next week on Tesla will be even more important. Because next week will either, if it closes out like this week, then next week's going to be important to look for either downside continuation or was this it? Was this the move? Was that the end of it? So if this is the end of it, then we could potentially be buyers on retests of it. But down here, no. Anything under 291, we leave it alone because the lows are being threatened. And that's pretty much it. We know what we're watching on the alts. We've been talking about them all morning, and nothing has changed. So Farcoin did get a nice little bounce there, but it's testing 30-minute support right now. So for it to go up, it needs to hold that. What other positions? W is right back down to the July open. That's not what we want to see either. We want to see it start to move away from the level, not come back to it. So this is bearish overall. We're just interested in it to see if the buyers or sellers win. We don't know who's going to win. But if we can't hold the July open, then we revert back to the sell side, as that's where everybody is, on the sell side. Hype, I closed that out. I should have literally held it, but there's no way to interpret or no way to predict it's going to completely reverse. So I got rid of it. I'm out of LPT. Right now I have a Pendle short. I'm still holding this short, and I still like it lower. And I got a Farcoin long. That's what I'm going to close out the day with. If this closes 30-minute candle under here, then I'll just get out of this, right? Because it's doing the exact same thing as W. It's not going away from the level. So we'll wrap it up with that. You all have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, oh wait, let me answer this question. Check SPX. All right. SPX is like trading sideways. SPX is trading inside yesterday's range. It isn't doing anything, but as long as the VIX is trading under $17.21, I like the S&P 500 higher. I'm not going to buy it right here, right now. But I mean, I can wait for a pullback to get long. But I don't think it's today. I tried to do a long on it earlier this morning. It didn't work because it's not giving us continuation. It's chopping back and forth between yesterday's high and low. It's not something I want to sit in all night, right? I'll wait till tomorrow. Then I can either target it to the downside for a breakdown or try to get long again and target it for an upside breakout. If it trades inside of this range all day, then you're going to see maybe a slower day tomorrow because NFP's on Thursday. But Thursday will be a very good day to look for an S&P 500 scalp. You might break down today, I don't know. You might break out today, I don't know. But as of right now, it hasn't done anything. So it's lacking conviction to either side. Therefore, I don't want to trade it. But that's where it is, right? That's what it's doing. Right here's this is where Friday closed. So you're unchanged on the week. This is called unched. It's literally a weekly doji. You're 20 points higher than where you closed last week. That we need to see continuation, up or down. So right now we're gonna leave it alone. And then where would I find these same tickers you're trading on? Trade Locker. I'm not sure what Trade Locker is. Is that an exchange for Gino? I'm trading stocks and the options on the stocks. You can basically get that from any American brokerage. And then the crypto, I'm trading on weeks. So it's called Weeks. It's an offshore exchange, but your Binance's, your Coinbase's, like, we're trading things that are popular on most exchanges. If it's not on your exchange, you could find a few pairs that are on your exchange and I will look at them for you. Like, if there's something that you see that you're interested in and you can trade it, then I'll look at it for you. You just got to give me the ticker. But yeah, Bitcoin, Hype, Fartcoin, BSW, LPT, Pendle, and then Jasmy, WUSD, and PEP. All of these are on like all crypto exchanges. Maybe not everyone, but most of them. And if, like, with Weeks, they constantly add new stuff to trade every day. And then I'm mostly trading the futures on these coins. So like, I'm not trading the spot market of Pendle, for instance. I'm trading on the USDT, the futures. It's a perpetual swap contract. So it never expires, but every 8 hours there is a fee to pay in the funding rate. So like, if your platform offers a futures, you will probably find a lot of these on that. Maybe you should be able to find them on the spot side of the platform as well. I think Weeks has more stuff to trade on the spot side than it does the perpetual side. But I like to trade the futures because it's settled in Tether. And then I can send that Tether to my bank account. Right? I can't send Pendle to my bank account. I have to send USD to my bank account. That's why I like to trade the futures. It's settled in cash, or just as good as cash for now. All right, we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you so much. We'll try to go again tomorrow. And then, of course, on Thursday, we'll be going a little bit earlier on Thursday because the NFP will be announced at 8:30 a.m. So we'll probably start the live stream around 8:15 in the morning on Thursday. So Thursday it'll be a little bit long of a stream, but we'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you guys trade safe, trade smart, and as always, happy trading, everybody.